About 2 weeks ago, they started closing everything, restricting flights into and out of the country, which was the tip-off that we were going to be under a kind of enforced quarantine. So we wound things down at the lab, and then about a week and a half ago, they imposed the strict quarantine. And what that means in practice is that we have to actually stay in our residences. Only a single person per household can go outside to shop for groceries, go to the pharmacy, etc. And this is enforced by the police through a strict fine and potentially jail time. So what this means for the lab is we actually can't go into the lab. There's no exceptions for this. So when we realized that this is where we were heading, we kind of ramped things down considerably. And now we are basically kind of just in a holding position. We can't go to the lab, at least not yet. And since we work with mosquitoes and do a lot of mosquito work, molecular work, obviously this isn't happening now because of the mandatory quarantine. We work on Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus primarily, and you can actually save those eggs for some number of months, usually. So we have we have eggs for all our strains that we use, stored in the incubators in the lab. So we're okay for at least, I'd say 2 to 3 months. After that, it'll get a little tricky because then we'll need to hatch. But we shouldn't lose any of our strains. So in that regard, we're super lucky. It's not like Drosophila where you have to keep them alive continuously. In theory, it's for 2 more weeks, but we don't know. In Colombia, things change really quickly. So we kind of expect them to continue it at some point. But as of now, yeah, we're confined to our residences and we can only go out. I mentioned previously that we, to enforce the fact that only one person can go out, now they are using, the final number in your government ID card, and that gives you the day that you can actually go out. And they recommend for an hour, so you can go out for 1 to 2 hours, I guess. For me, that's Tuesdays and Fridays. So yeah, that's the situation on the ground. We're pretty much very strictly confined to our home, and research-wise, that means everything's come to an end other than we have a few papers we're writing, so we can continue on with those. But other than writing, and we meet to have journal club, I teach a class once a week online now. That's it. So pretty much stuck inside. It's very boring, but strictly enforced.